meet you
Thank you
in
for having me.
person. We talked on the phone the other day, and in the audience, welcome very, very much to Conversations program here. We're dealing with Gene Roberts, and he's billed as an actor, as a singer, and a songwriter, and we're going to show some of his credits in those venues and so forth. And Gene, welcome very, very, very much to Conversations.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Howard.
Real pleasure to welcome you. I wonder maybe you could, because we got time, and we're going to play some from one of your CDs and so forth. But could you share your background, born and raised, a little bit, as a way to wade in, and then we'll be talking about some of the things having to do with acting, songwriting, and singing.
Okay, I was born in Brooklyn, raised in the Bronx, and I came from a very famous mother.
Oh, really?
And
Who would that be? I mean,
Helen Forrest. Was my mother.
Okay, yeah.
And she had raised me to be a musician, I guess, if you would say that.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay. Well, that
let's
would
see.
be an interesting home setting then. That would be creative.
Oh, yeah, very
And
creative.
yeah, creative and interesting rather
She always
than
sang to me when I was a baby.
Really,
She always
yeah?
did, yeah. It put me to sleep. It always put me to sleep.
Okay,
you
yeah.
know, and she felt that whenever I was hard and going to sleep, because as a kid I used to sometimes get up like all children do sometimes with nightmares and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mommy would always be there to comfort you, and my mother was always there for me.
Ain't they great, man?
She's a fabulous woman. She
No, I think
was.
my mother was the best ever in the history of the universe. Maybe
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I know,
Anyway,
we always think very highly of our mothers. I think
Yeah.
most children do, of course.
well,
they
it's
do.
good if you do. It's really important. That early nurturing is really important too.
Well,
you
I
know,
lost my father pretty young in life.
I'm sorry.
you
Yeah, I
know.
did too. I was 13 when mine passed. How old were you when your
Oh,
dad?
gee, I was about 6.
Only.
5 or 6 years old. When
Oh boy, it made it tough for her then in a way to raise
certainly
a.
did.
Yeah.
It did.
And you were in the Bronx, did you say?
I was raised in the Bronx.
Yeah. And school and all that sort of thing? Public school? or-
Public school. I started out in Catholic school. parochial school.
Okay.
And then when I was having it tough getting up in the morning to go to parochial school, you know,
Yeah.
the nuns that were very, very strict about
I
their
understand they were stricter than normal. I always had trouble getting to school too.
My
But
mother
those-
was always having problems with the teachers. Said, you have to get your son to school on time. You know, this is a classroom. We run a tight ship here.
Yeah.
So my mother says, all right, listen, I'm paying for this education.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just, if he can't get up on time, then let's just send him to public school. So that's when I started going to public school. Then when I first started public school, I had developed asthma.
Oh, you had
know?
asthma. That's serious.
Yes, as a baby, I was very, very sick with asthma.
Really? Uh-huh.
Yeah, and my mother had a time with that too.
Yeah, sure. And you did too.
I
Yeah.
certainly did.
That can be really nasty. Is that under control now?
Oh yeah, the doctors said that once I've reached a certain age, that it would all get up and grow away, go
Yeah,
away. you
yeah.
know? It was just the thing I was going through.
Did you find out about what it is? I don't know very well. I had a
To
friend of
this day, I
mine,
really don't know.
great artist who had that, and it caught up with him at a very young age. It
Yeah.
can be really serious.
And it had gotten very serious for me. When I told, I was dead for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I
No
suffocated.
kidding.
Yeah,
Officially, so?
officially.
Wow.
And I didn't know nothing about it. was
I
only a
should
baby.
call you Lazarus.
There you go.
Oh, right. No, but okay, yeah. But did that?
Like Gabriel, and I.
Yeah. Oh well, okay. But anyway, you were at school and you went to public. Did you go to college and stuff? Or?
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
I've gotten myself a bachelor's degree in law and in music.
In what?
Law and in music.
Lore and music. Okay, folklore and music. Yeah. Okay.
And a little better an associate's degree in psychology.
Okay, that's good. So you got all of that, and that was all while you were in the Bronx. And so?
No, I was in Bronx.
When did you pick up the musical stuff? I mean,
Oh,
were
gee, I picked
teenager?
up. No,
No, wait a minute. I had a story from the telephone with you that you were 13 when the famous
Recorded my
Woodstock
first-
thing went. You were actually trying to get up there to that
Yeah.
Woodstock festival, but you were too young or something.
was
But you were
too
writing
young.
songs then, right?
That's right.
Okay, that's good.
I-
You haven't got that recorded, do you?
No.
That song
I
when
had
you
a-
were 13?
No, I've
Wouldn't it
got
be
the
great to
song when I
have?
record. I would love to have
Yeah.
that.
Have you
I've
still got
lost
the words?
A
and
lot
the,
of my
have you
things
got the
when I was young.
music and the words? and
I
everything?
still got everything.
You do. You should redo
Sure.
that. Why don't you do that sometime?
Well, I
maybe?
was talking with my producer.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
he
Yeah,
was
that's
saying,
Val.
yeah,
Val,
no, my producer is Keith Kemper.
Oh, Keith Kemper, right? Good friend of mine. Yeah, great guy. Yeah, right.
He's a wonderful friend of mine,
yeah,
too, as well.
uh-huh.
Great producer, wonderful talent.
But you were young then. You were picking up on the songwriting and so forth,
Yeah,
and
back in those
folklore
days,
and
yeah.
all that's putting you into the realm of where you could start.
I got into music at the age. In fact, I got into music at the age of 7. I started playing the guitar at the age of 7.
At that early.
And how it happened was my mother had gotten remarried. She had married a Sistine Spaniard guy.
She had married one?
A Castilian Spaniard.
Oh, yeah,
Spanish fellow.
Barcelona.
From Barcelona.
Barcelona.
All
Yeah.
right.
Valencia. Yeah. Barcelona's a beautiful town.
He was a merchant marine seaman.
Okay, yeah.
And he always promised my brother and I guitars. He was going to get us guitars, get us guitars.
Right.
Yeah, he always promised me the Spanish guitar from
Right,
Spain. Because
right,
he was a
right.
merchant marine seaman, and he always went to Spain. And
Uh-huh.
every time he'd come back and he didn't have the guitar, I said, "Oh, Mom, he never got me the guitar. He forgot my guitar." So my mother would say to him, "Well, gee, Joseph, that was his name. Well, why didn't you forget? How did you forget the kid his guitar?" "Oh, I forgot, I was over there in Spain, and he always have some excuse." So
Yeah.
my mother said to me, "I'm going to buy you the guitar."
Yeah, you can get a guitar down Times Square or something. You can get it.
My mother ended up buying it for me in a place called Bronin's in the Bronx.
Okay.
And
There's
I
Sam
remember
Ash or something?
Yeah, when they were Sam Ash. I don't know if they were Sam Ash in those days.
No, I don't know either. I don't know. It's
This
not
is
my
going back in
bailiwick.
the 60s.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But you were 13 in 1969,
I was 13 in 1969.
and you'd written a song. You'd written many songs?
I've written
And
many,
you knew
many
how to play the
songs.
guitar by
I knew
then?
how to play the
When
guitar.
did you first pick up the guitar? How old were you?
7. I was 7 years old.
7 years. Oh, I see. So
I was
that's
7 years old.
And you got a guitar finally, right?
I
Six
finally
string
got
and
my
everything?
first guitar.
Yeah.
I was all excited.
And you went
too.
to it right away?
Oh, yeah.
Did you do any lessons, or did you just pick it all
Oh,
up?
no, my mother had got me some lessons.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, she had got me lessons from somebody who was quite famous. I was amazed, and of course I didn't know who he was. I was only a kid,
Who was that famous person?
His name was Jules.
Jules.
Yeah,
Okay.
he played with a group called Bread.
Okay.
Guitar
okay.
player.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And he started giving me guitar lessons. He saw I was a young, energetic youngster that
Right.
wanted to really learn how to play the guitar, and he saw the enthusiasm in me, and he said, "Gee, you really want to do this?" I said, "Yeah, I do."
Where'd the enthusiasm come from, you see?
Well,
Where do
I
you
assume
think it came? Do you think it's the thing, like Mozart? Mozart was born with something, he had perfect pitch and all that kind of stuff. You think some people are born with a proclivity or a genetic proclivity for music? And
Well,
so
my
forth?
mother, like
Like
I
I
said-
never played an instrument when I was young, but that's it's different. I'm just wondering.
It doesn't really mean anything if you play the instrument or not. It's just something that's within inside of you.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
for me, I think it came, like I said, it came from my mom. And my
Okay.
mother was a singer. She was in
Right.
the arts and stuff like that in her
Right,
day. So,
right.
and she also did a movie or two with,
Uh-huh. Oh, I didn't
because of her
realize
music.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was signed to RCA Victor back in her day.
Okay, right, okay.
So because of her, and like she always sang to me when I was a kid when I used to sleep at night, and so that always stayed in my mind. Apparently, I loved music that much that I said, I got to do this. I
Yeah.
want to do this. And
I gotta
then,
do
of course,
music.
I've had my favorite personalities, my favorite singers, my favorite songwriters, and my favorite artists, and stuff like that, and that day,
Uh-huh.
and that.
Who were
enthused me a
some that
lot.
influenced you, if you can remember back in those days?
Well, gee, the Beatles were one of my big ones.
Weren't they something else?
They
man?
were
Weren't they
terrific.
something? Man?
They were terrific, and they
And
were so talented.
63, you would have been very young then when
Oh,
they
yeah.
hit like gangbusters on these shores. Yeah.
Gee, 63. It was 64 when they started the Beatle invasion.
Yeah.
And let's see, I had to be what?
Well, you can do the math.
5 or 6.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
about
yeah.
around the time my pop passed on us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the 60s was a time of incredible, sort of culmination in the Woodstock Festival,
It was.
seems to me. There was something, as Bobby Dylan, great poet, really had the zeitgeist down, man. And he said there's something blowing in the wind, and there was. And you were born right into, influentially so.
I guess I
born
must have blew right into that wind.
You could have been born you could have been born like myself. I was born in the 30s, okay?
Okay.
Or you're in a different era, and what's in the air is different. We had Eisenhower, and it was a different era. So you were born into and formative years in a very creative moment in terms of the arts.
Yeah.
And so it's an advantage in a way, and your generation was advantaged in a certain sense. It seems to me.
Yeah.
That was a time of, there was a lot of dissension in the air, wasn't there? We had all the civil rights nonsense that was still hanging on, Jim Crow down south,
Yeah,
and we had
there was a
Malcolm
lot
X
of that,
and,
stuff
and
going
Martin,
on.
and then we had the assassination of Martin King and Bob Kennedy, and we had Woodstock. Well, we had Vietnam was raging.
I grew up in a pretty rough era, let's put it that
Well,
way.
it was rough, but it was very creative.
And
it
very
was
creative.
like the
It was a lot about
60s.
just peace and love and
Right.
no war.
It was,
And, it was an era, to me, it was an era of, well, like I said, I was young, so to me it was peace and love and no war. I loved it. It was just so down to earth,
I think,
relaxed.
you know, if I may, I've been doing this for a long time, and I come from a different background, and music is just, it's sort of there, but it's not essential to me, or the way I was doing it and everything. But I think that time, when you're coming up to around 1970 or so, or that era, it's called the 60s. I think the younger people are sick to death of hearing about Woodstock and the spirit of Woodstock. We're celebrating just the 40th anniversary now. Right now, August 15th.
Yeah.
So we're right in that era. And they had that thing. But there was something very unique about that time, not only in terms, and it wasn't just sex, drugs, and rock and roll, as the conservatives would try to say. It was all licentious and, you know, irresponsible and all that and everything. Mr. Rockefeller declared that Woodstock site a disaster area because there were all those people, 600,000 people, and everything happened. It just sort of happened. But there was like a happening, and there was a rend in the society, and it was very creative, and it was just days and days and days of just great music coming up and everything. But that era was very significant, and it's very interesting. A lot of the recent political leaders and so forth look back on that as a licentious time of just terrible irresponsibility and so forth. But I think it was an extremely important era existentially in terms of the whole human condition. I still think that that's a time that we could do well to be in association with, and you were born right into it.
Right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started, I mean, I was, like I said, I was influenced by a lot of the different artists that were around in those days.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was into guitar, you know, and I used to love that wailing guitar and all that stuff. And
you like Hendrix?
Hendrix.
At that age, you were into Hendrix?
Yeah.
I
mean, there's nothing like, come on.
I was there
to me,
when
Hendrix was a left-handed guitar. Actually, I am a left-handed guitar
You
player.
are. You play left-handed.
But I don't.
You don't?
I've learned how to play right-handed because...
Isn't that hard to do if you're left-handed?
Oh, man, was it difficult.
I'll bet. That's a huge
I was so interested in playing the guitar and so wanting to play the guitar. Let's put it that way. Simplify it.
Okay.
That no matter which way I played it, I was going to learn it regardless. Hook or by crook, I was going to become a guitar player.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And I did. I learned how to play guitar. And believe me, learning how to play guitar with a right-handed with your fingers like this, and it's hard, dropping the pick constantly, not being able to...
Yeah.
Because when you're learning the guitar, you got to learn how to press the strings. You got to be able to evenly press those strings, you know, to learn the chords and so forth.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know. I'm right-handed. Most people are right-handed, I think, everything. But if I ever tried to do something left-handed, it would be just a whole nother thing.
A lot of people think I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah, ambidextrous. Well, there are people that can be that way.
Oh, there are.
I was shocked the other day. I got a friend, Ornette Coleman. He's a jazz, free-form jazz. He was a breakthrough, like he and Coltrane and that. But and I was really proud of him because he's a friend, and he won one of those Genius things, which is very good. And then he won the Pulitzer Prize in music. There's only been 2 jazz guys that have done that, so I'm proud of him. He had a concert at Carnegie Hall.
Wow!
And I was so impressed because I'm in the audience there and everything, and all of a sudden he whipped out a violin. He starts playing the violin left-handed, and it was gorgeous, just gorgeous. And I didn't even know he could do it. So musicians are able to pick it up, unique things.
You want to know something, Harold?
Yes,
if I was to pick up any other instrument, now I can play bass too. Of course, bass I'll play right-handed.
Well, bass is a different guitar.
Right, it's a 4-string guitar.
Right, it's like rhythm. I think I associate it with rhythm.
It's the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, of course, with bass guitar, I'd be playing it the exact same way if I was playing my guitar right-handed.
Okay, yeah, right.
But if you had put me behind the drums, or you put me behind a violin, gosh darn it, I'd be playing it left-handed.
You would.
I would.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be the instrument of my choice.
But you did it right-handed because it fits the market, or why? Why did you bother going to do it right-handed rather than left-handed?
Teacher.
Obama's left-handed.
Yeah.
Our president.
They say most people that are left-handed are very intelligent people.
You understand that? Is there statistics
I think
for that?
So.
Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I've learned how to play the guitar, gosh darn it, right-handed.
Right.
And I was so enthused and wanted to do it.
Who else impressed you? You mentioned Hendrix. And,
okay.
I got a friend, Richie Havens. You know Richie Havens?
Oh, yeah. I've done some work with Richie Havens.
Richie Havens, a great guy.
With Roland Egamusa, who's a very good friend of his.
Okay.
And who had written the Indian Prayer for him.
Okay, I don't know that, but okay. But
Roland Egamusa was a writer, was a good friend of his, and he was an acoustical, he was a folk artist.
Right.
And he'd written a lot of songs of his own back in the late 60s and so forth. And
right,
so on. And he used to hang out with Bob Dylan, he used to hang out with Richie Havens, he knew a lot of these people. And, I became pretty close to him.
Right.
I met him by a fluke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was working on a job one time, and because coming up in the music business, I started work. I had myself a job. I was working as a New York City police officer.
Uh-huh.
And when I got laid off the job, I started moving on to other avenues. Like, in my lifetime, I moved up and I got myself a job in doing security, and I was doing armed car. And
Okay.
I happened to be picking up money one day from the Taxi and Limousine Commission.
Right.
And there I run into this fella.
Yeah.
He said his name was Roland, and he was into the music business also. And
Yeah.
we started it off.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Then I found out, while talking to him and getting more acquainted with the gentleman, I found out that he knew Bob, had knew Richie Havens, and he knew.
Must have hung out in the village a bit,
He
because a
was-
lot of that was going on in the village. It was so great, man. Yeah.
He grew up in the 60s era.
Yeah,
the early
right,
60s.
right.
And
Yeah, Richie Havens was the first one. He had 600,000 souls there at the Woodstock thing and the big oxbow thing at Yaska's farm.
Yeah.
Music, and the first song that was finally sung, kicking the whole thing off, was Richie singing "Freedom."
there you go.
That kicked the whole thing off, and God bless him, you know. But so
God
you were
bless him, he was a talent.
you were sort of influenced by all of that. A very creative era you grew into.
Yes,
yeah.
I was quite influenced by the 60s movement. By the, like I said, the guitar always was my big instrument. There's always, whenever I saw a guitar player on stage as a child, I was always watched him and said, wow, that's got to be me. You know, I got to do that.
Yeah.
You know? And, but as a singer, what really influenced me was a very poetic singer.
Uh-huh.
And he had a beautiful voice as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And that singer from the 60s was Gary Puckett.
Okay, Gary Puckett in the something. Wasn't there Gary
Union Gap.
Puckett in the what?
Union Gap.
Yeah, right,
they
right. I
were
remember that.
Very, very poetic. This
Okay.
guy had some voice.
Poetic. You said he was poetic.
Yes.
Yeah,
his
okay.
music,
Yeah, there's a
everything
link
he
between
sung
them.
was
Yeah.
poetic to me.
Yeah, right.
And that's when I started really learning how to really say, oh, this is how I write my music. This is how I should write my lyrics. You know, and this is how I should sing. I want to sing just like Gary Puckett.
All right, all right. Well,
You know?
and that,
which,
yeah.
ironically, later on in years, well, not too far after that, gave me a chance to record with Gary.
Oh, really? Isn't that something great to be able to get with
amazed.
somebody you
I
really
was
admire?
only doing studio work for, I was being
Yeah.
a hired studio musician.
Right.
And it also gave me a chance to work with Bob Marley.
Oh, wow.
And back in the early 70s,
Marley
Bob
was
first
just
got here.
great. You loved reggae.
I was a studio musician, and I was working because how I got that position was through an African friend of mine. He was with a group he had just formed called Kabaka back in the early days.
Was it reggae?
They were
Yeah.
we were at reggae African group.
Yeah, right. Okay,
The
yeah.
lead singer was from Jamaica,
Uh-huh.
from Bob's hometown.
A lot of good. Yellow Man came out
Oh,
of there.
man.
The Yellow Man was great too.
Oh,
also,
man.
you know, and Marley was a legend. Yeah.
Oh, he was a legend.
We're gonna have to get to a movie called Legend, but that's down the line.
That's
a little
right.
bit. Yeah, right. But
But how it was, I was like one of 13 guitar players to audition for Bob Marley.
yeah.
And he had hundreds of, not 13, I mean, yeah, by 13 guitar players. I like the 13th guitar player that walked into his studio with a guitar man. As I was walking up into the studio, somebody else was walking out.
Right.
I said, is this the Bob who? He goes, Bob Marley. I says, okay, is this the studio? He goes, you're right inside there, buddy. So I said, okay, thanks.
Yeah,
And I walked in, and there was this engineer.
Uh-huh.
There was the producers there, and place full of smoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Could have been a little ganja, maybe.
Yeah, well, exactly what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Although I never touched any of that stuff.
No.
In all
Okay.
my years in the business, I
Yeah.
never touched any drugs at all.
Okay. Right. Okay. That's good.
I'm proud of that.
Okay. Fine.
It's a legacy for me. Anyway,
But there were others of a different persuasion.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
This was my first time ever listening to this kind of music. I
Okay.
never
You're
even
still
heard of
relatively
it.
young. You mean the
I
reggae?
was,
the reggae
I was
beat.
about
Okay.
16 years old. 17.
Oh, you're still young. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Still
Okay.
young. And I
yeah.
was a young kid looking, hey, I'm going to
Yeah,
play
yeah,
with
yeah.
somebody who.
Gotcha,
But I
gotcha.
didn't know who Bob Marley was.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So I went into the live room. I take out my guitar. I tune myself up. I plug myself in. They give me a sound check. I put on these headphones, and I'm listening to this. What am I listening to here? What is this?
Uh-huh.
I
Did you
was
pick
stuck.
it up? Did you pick it up, or could you
Oh
pick
yeah,
it up? Yeah.
yeah. I picked it up,
Yeah.
but it took me a little time.
Why? Why?
He goes to me, "You need a little time at this song, man." I says, "Yeah, well, maybe I do."
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
"Well, here's a cassette."
Yeah,
In those
right,
days,
right.
no
yeah.
DVDs
yeah,
or
yeah,
CDs.
Yeah,
we had
right,
cassette.
right.
So he hands me a cassette and he says, I'll give you 2 weeks with it. I says, okay. Instead, he gives me only 3 days.
Okay.
I wasn't going to find it 3 days for something I never even heard of a day in my life.
Are you good at picking up something new like that on the spot or not? Or do you have to get used to it?
If it's something like that,
How
how
many different genres of music are there that you can relate to? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
you're hearing music at that set. You're 16 or whatever. You're hearing music and it's totally new to you. So that would be something you can't just immediately groove with it.
No.
You can't. You have to pick it up at a soulful level.
No, something that's what's in you.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's strange to you, it does take a little bit of work
to do. It does,
do.
right? Yeah.
I mean, even if you're as a professional, I mean, sometimes you could pick up something right away by the pick of an ear. I mean,
that's what I was
my
wondering.
record producer's amazing musician, this guy.
Who?
Keith Kemper.
Keith Kemper's great.
He's amazing. I love the guy.
Yeah,
He could pick up anything at the flick of an e-ball. I said,
Yeah.
"Jeez, I wish I
It's
could
an
do like
innate
that."
thing. No, people have a talent for that, or
They
they,
do.
they have different talents that are.
I believe I have a
characteristic.
talent for it myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I could pick up on things quite quick.
Well,
you
I was
know.
just thinking,
Keith and I,
'cause
we do very quick.
I was
when
just
we're
thinking,
with
like, I
others.
ran into a guy the other day. I was at a thing with a bunch of people from. I happen to like Muammar Gaddafi, and they're putting together a thing where they're bringing Africa together.
Yeah.
And we went to a meeting of a thing called the African Chamber of Commerce in the United States for bringing Africa business and or cultural things in connection with the United States and everything. They had a guy there. His name was DJ Gaddafi.
Yeah.
And he liked Gaddafi. Gaddafi's very well liked all over Africa and so forth. And he was DJing, right?
Yeah.
And he had shades. And
There
he
you
was
go.
young, and he was hip, and he was playing music
man.
that was he was playing popular music from Africa, Kenya,
Wow.
and that, and it rocked.
There you go.
It was really great music.
not
So what I'm
rocking.
saying, there's a lot of good music coming from all parts of the world and so forth. So there's a lot of variety you can pick up on, and how soon you can move from one to the other. You know, could you
If
move
you're-
into classical,
Oh, yeah.
Mozart, Bach,
Mozart.
Beethoven, that
Maybe
kind
I
of
probably
thing?
could if I.
You know what
if
I'm
I-
saying?
If I fit in. In other words,
Yeah, or
if I hear
feel
anything,
it,
I'd have to
or get in the
I'd have to
groove,
get
as
it.
they
I can
say.
probably usually get in the groove of anything.
Yeah,
right now.
right.
I mean, thanks to, like I said, my record producer, Keith Kemper. I mean, I'm a pop artist by trade.
Okay, okay.
I write pop, all kinds of things to do with pop. I'll
We
write it
just
all.
we just lost.
I mean, I even do disco. You know, I can even
Dis-
do disco.
Well, okay.
And of course,
Techno?
country
You don't do
and all that
techno.
stuff. But who got me into dance? You name it, the
Yeah,
Keith.
yeah.
I got me
Yeah,
into
yeah.
dance every
You
time.
like to
He
dance?
said, no, I love dancing.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
good
and I love
dance?
dancing.
You good at dancing?
I think I got 2 left feet. You want to know the truth?
2 left feet, really? Yeah. Isn't that
A lot of people say I
You
dance
think a
pretty good. I got a good
Wouldn't a
shimmy.
musician be able to dance ordinarily? Do you think
You
Fred
think so?
Astaire would have been able to play music? Or there's a link up between those
Fred
things.
Astaire.
Fred Astaire was great. Honey Coles.
Fabulous dancer.
Honey Coles? Oh, he was great. Or the
God,
Copacetic up in
Gene
Howard.
Kelly?
Gene Kelly, yeah. But that's your thing, and you don't have a
Those are my
bridge
favorite
between the
actors, too.
musician and the dancer, or the feeling for the music and everything that is.
Yeah,
in
no,
dance.
I do. I
You do,
When I
yeah. Mm-hmm.
get up and dance, I mean, I can't say I'm not a total bad dancer. I mean, when I perform live on stage and stuff like that, of course I move.
You move
I dance.
around, yeah.
I move around. I
Yeah.
dance. You know, and I sing and I
Yeah. Mm.
play guitar if I have a guitar in my hands.
And you write your own song.
And I write, compose, and
So
produce
you're
and
like
that's it.
do you think a songwriter, in terms of lyrics and that, it's like a poet?
Exactly.
I heard you say poetic for Puckett,
Right.
and that's
I
interesting.
consider Gary Puckett a poet.
Yeah.
In his own right.
Bobby Dylan was a poet. And the great
Exactly.
writers,
Of that era.
there's a link between poetry or real poetry.
Because back in
rather
the
than-
60s, there was this
than-
thing called peace and love.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's again back to picking up on the vibe that's there in the air. It's like Bobby Dylan said, there's something blowing in the wind.
Right.
You know, you're picking it up intuitively of what's going on, and probably has a lot to do with technology and politics and all kinds of things going on.
Exactly.
But you pick up on the ear, and it has a sound of its own,
Yeah.
right? And
It's
everything.
got a sound of its own.
Hip hop? Do you get into hip hop and
I
stuff?
can get into almost anything, really.
You can,
Right
right.
today,
Yeah.
yes. As a professional musician, I'll get into almost anything. If you ask me tomorrow, sit to me, well, Gene, I need you to play guitar for me. I have to play something here. I got the music here because you need you to do
The
is
music
play the
of
guitar.
Uzbekistan.
I'll do it. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, music's my life.
Right,
I'll
right,
do it.
right,
Whether
right,
I
right.
feel it's my thing or not, if it's something that you need, and I'll do my best too. I'll give it my 110.
It's wonderful. It's universal, isn't it, too? Music is universal.
To
Everybody
me,
can
it's
understand.
the way to peace.
Yeah.
And as the old 60s go, to love.
Peace and love is a two good prescription. You're also an actor.
Yes, I am.
And I know you had a role, I found out, in the the recent movie, big bestseller, I guess, with Will Smith, I Am Legend.
I Am Legend, right.
And you were one of those vampires, or one of those, what was it, a vampire?
Yeah, I was one of the. I was the zombie.
I remember the movie, and I remember you scared the daylights out of me. So I guess that has good word for the fact that you're pretty good on the acting also.
Yeah.
Did you come up against the windscreen?
I
Were
came
you
up
one-
with
the
green
one that-
screen. It was shot.
No. In the film, as you see the film, there
Yeah.
was the thing where he's in a
It was a
vehicle,
screen.
and some ghoul came up and crashed into
Yeah,
the windscreen.
it came to it.
Was that you?
That was me.
That was you. You
That was
scared the daylights out of me. I'm happy to say you really
I think I
pulled
scared
it
of
off.
everybody, and probably myself. I
Yeah.
said, oh,
Yeah.
not me. Because how it happened was they had picked up quite a few of us extras to do these parts.
Right.
You know, and I had started out with like 300 other people trying to get out of the city.
Right.
And every time I come up against the soldier, if I went to the right, I had got my second a day view on TV.
Yeah.
If I went to the left, I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And I kept going to the left.
Yeah.
And I said, well, geez, how come they keep putting me to the left? Why am I getting put to the left? I want to get out there and get on that TV screen. I want to be noticed, you know? What are all these people? How am I going to get noticed, you know? Well, what happened was the director had intentions for me and about maybe 70 or 80 other actors
Yeah. Right.
to do these roles.
Out of all the ones that were there, yeah.
And he said, well, after the end of the shoot was over, he goes, man, I need you. Come over here, I need you to do. You guys are going to play zombies. So I said, well, okay. All right. You know?
Yeah.
I figured maybe it's another background role. What the hell is this?
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
probably not gonna get seen.
Go with the flow, yeah.
Go with the flow. I'm getting paid though. So I come in the next morning, and it was so cold. We were shooting. The first thing we started shooting was out over there on the South Street Seaport on the pier.
Okay. Yeah, right. A lot of scenes over there.
It was
yeah.
like 16 degrees.
16, that's cold
16
for New
degrees.
York.
I
yeah.
remember there was a chart right across the water. If you look across, if you ever go down to the South Street Seaport,
Yeah, been there, you know. Really,
have you ever looked across the way into Brooklyn? You
Kind
notice
of. I
there's
don't
a,
remember it well, yeah, but.
there's a thing up there that shows the time,
Oh, okay.
the weather.
Okay, yeah, right.
And I was looking up at that thing,
not
and it was
silver color.
16 degrees.
Uh-huh.
Cold. And there we are. They were giving us hand warmers, feet warmers, and everything else to keep our bodies warm. The actors were sticking the hand warmers in their pockets. Anyway, to make a long story short, when we got picked to do those parts, I was picked to do a part where they wanted me to, a Jeep's going to be coming at me this way, and I had to run up to the Jeep, and if they asked me, do you know how to do your own stunts? I said, well, yeah,
maybe,
I can
yeah.
stunt a little bit. Yeah, sure. He says, well, okay, well, we need you to do this. You ain't going to hurt yourself. You just have to run, and everything's going to be done in slow motion, and we're just going to speed it up later.
Yeah,
And besides, you're going to be shot on green screen.
yeah.
What's green
You
screen?
didn't know from green screen.
I didn't know nothing
Yeah,
about green screen.
or blue screen. Yeah, they can digitally.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I went up and I did what they told me to do.
they're good.
And they liked very much
And
what
you
I
got
did.
the part as a star ghoul.
And I didn't realize I was in the Star Ghoul.
Well, good for you. Anyway, so you're doing that, and then but your main thing's music and writing.
Right.
The writing. Do you write poetry apart from it being linked to music, or are you a poet? Do you publish anything in terms
No,
of
I've
poetry?
never I know. I've
You
never
link the
published
two.
anything
You
in
link
poetry.
the music and. What comes first when you got a thing you're putting together yourself? Now, not
Well,
working
yeah,
with
it's
somebody else.
something- when we
the
write is
words
right.
or the melody? What comes first? The tune? or
Usually it's a combination of both. Sometimes
Both?
it is the music.
come at the same time?
Sometimes they
Do you
do.
sometimes come upon something in the shower or something? It just moves you,
Well,
or the moment moves
Do you know
you
what
and you
moves
pick
me?
it?
When I walk my little Annie, my little dog
Dog?
Annie.
What kind of dog?
I have a little gray terrier chihuahua. Her name is Annie.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
And every time I take her for a walk, she always takes me for a walk either underneath the Brooklyn Bridge, because I live at the South Street Seaport.
Oh, I see. You
live
live
right
over
there.
there. Okay, right.
live
Okay.
there.
Yeah, okay.
So it was easy for me to get up in the morning to go to work.
Oh, yeah.
Until
you
the end of the movie.
Even though it was
Anyway.
16 degrees. Sorry about that. It could have been a lot
it was
colder.
cold.
What if
Then
you were
it-
in Vladivostok? Or
They even told us to take off our coat.
Yeah.
Yes, 20 minutes without a coat.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, that's the movie. I take my dog for a walk. Every time I'd walk my dog, I would always come up with some idea.
Yeah.
It was always something.
An idea, not
An-
not a sound.
An idea.
Not a sound.
Yeah, like that. Just an
They don't
idea.
come together. The words and the sound don't come
Exactly.
at all. They,
Never
I
do.
mean, they come
Sometimes-
separate.
Sometimes they do.
Okay.
I've written a song one time called, one of the songs on my album
Yeah, I
called
want to
You're the
show
One.
this album. Yeah, go ahead.
And one of my songs, it's called "You're the One." I had written that from an experience that happened to me.
Let me hold this up, and when you get a chance, I'll just hold it here, Josh.
There you go.
And they got a robotic camera to come and let people know that this album is out now.
That's right.
And this is
it's in 181
and we're going to play
stores,
a
Best
piece
Buy.
from this. I think this camera here is robotic, so you want to
Okay.
bring it in on that. I'll just hold it. So go ahead, let them bring that in. But go ahead,
Sure.
yeah.
Anyway, one of the songs in the album is called "You're the One." I had written that song from something that happened to me in my life, and it was about a certain love that I had.
Yeah.
And
That's a source of
it's
inspiration.
usually the start of
isn't it?
inspiration all the time.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And "Is It Love" was a song that I had written, and it was started out from something that I loved and somebody that I loved, and it gave me the inspiration to write. And that song sort of came to me almost right away. And I said to myself, "Wow, this one's really hot."
Yeah.
So I got together, I called my friend Keith up, and I said, "Hey, Keith, let's, can we do something with this?" And he says, "Hey, this song is really good. I think we can really do something with this." I said, "Well, let's get down and see what we can do with this." We spent a whole night in a recording studio,
Yeah.
and a friend of ours, recording studio, recording this song.
Yeah, okay.
And from that, one song led to another and to another. And "You're Undercover" was written inside of a truck.
You're talking first about Is It Love, right?
"Is It Love?"
That was taken off. That's
taken off of me.
Okay.
In fact, that made top 10 for me all over Europe.
Now let's try it on the other camera and see if they can come in tight. And I've also
go.
there we go. Here we go.
There you go.
Let's let them see what it looks like. Okay. Come on, we'll cooperate with that. Can you come in tight? What's the title of the album?
The title of the album's called "Water Rain."
Water Rain.
It's
okay,
rainwater
that's
backward.
good. That's good. And it's you got it's we ought to let them know Val Records.
Val Records, yes, yes.
www.val VALRECORDS.biz.
That's right.
And you've also got this with the Val Management.
That's
The
correct.
people who are managing your career. And
That's
so when
correct.
you've done stuff with Keith Kemper, and this is one. So this is a song. And then, so that's what I'm saying. There's some of you've got how many? You got 10 tracks on here or something?
I got 10 as
Yeah.
my main tracks, and then there's 3 dance complimentary tracks on there.
Okay, that's good. How long has this been out, this piece?
Oh, gee, this has been out since since June 9th is
June
when they finally
of this year,
finalized
2009. It's just out,
2009.
hot off the presses, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
So you want to get this. Gene Roberts, that's good, and it's called Water Rain. And so this is let them know about that. That's good.
Yes.
And that one is that came all at once. Then I'm
Yeah.
curious as a creative. You're creative in terms of that.
Sure.
That how it comes like you've got I don't know, some song like Imagine. How do it
Glad you
lives?
say that.
The song lives,
Yes,
or
it
the
does.
song how that creative process. They used to have team writers. They would have people who would write. One would write the lyrics, one would write the words,
Right,
the
usually.
music.
Not usually.
Hammerstein, or they would, they had people who would combine.
When you talk opera, I guess that would
Well, not in
probably-
opera, but in popular Tin Pan Alley and that sort of thing. You'd have famous teams
Well,
who would do it.
When
who
I
was
wrote
it?
my album,
Yeah,
this
right.
album here, when I wrote this album, I did it basically by myself.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Keith Kemper helped me with a few of the songs, and then he helped me
Helped
produce
you in
the
what
album.
way?
Well, in production.
With the production, that's important increasingly, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because the production, and you
I
can
said the
do
guy's a
so much
genius.
with the
The guy's a
digital,
genius.
getting the right and good sound now, right?
I mean, I consider myself a good songwriter.
Okay.
And I've written some songs that made hits for me back in the early 70s and so forth and so on
Okay.
in my day.
Uh-huh.
But when I came across Keith, when I met up with him, I was just, the creative ideas this guy has is amazing.
Okay.
And when we got together to do this album, it was even more magic.
Yeah.
Because everything I had in my mind, for some way, somehow, this guy just brought it out, you know? And it was amazing. And
Okay, that's a collaborative thing
Yeah.
with that.
it's like he knew me. He knew how to work with me. And as far as, because like I said, I can write songs, put them together, and have them tight. Everything be beautiful. But he'd say to you, well, gee, Gina, it's great this way, and I think the song overall is great, but if you just added one chord this way or take a chord out the key, that doesn't sound right.
Is
try
that
it,
called
just try it.
arranging?
It's in a way, in a sense, if
Like
he hears an
arranging.
arrangement or
Yeah.
something like that, or even if it's, an arrangement, and then
Yeah.
even that particular, in Is It Love, for instance, when we were recording, before we recorded Is It Love,
Yeah.
I was showing him the song, he goes, Sam, everything is great, because the song is fabulous.
Uh-huh.
He goes, But instead of starting it with, I think I forgot how I even started the song. I think I started with the guitar. Him and I started with a whole keyboard and ensemble.
Yeah.
When it got to the studio, finally when it got to the studio and we were starting to lay it down, it started off with just the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy felt that this was what should be needed to get the song started. It should start from nothing and build its way into the whole thing.
Right.
And when I heard his creative idea, I said, there was no way I could not think about it. I said, this is great.
You also can do things now, like in video or in visual. You can do photoshopping. You can do all kinds of things with digital amplification, or making it bring up the French horn or bring up the sound, and you can bring in other things. It's amazing what you can do now.
Yeah, you really don't need a whole band to do everything, although we did have a whole band to do all this. But it was amazing the way produce. I mean, like I said, we're talking about I'm talking about myself, but this guy was the one that got out. I love talking about him because he helped my career tremendously.
Okay, well that's good. That's good, and it gets to be collaborative.
The guy, when we work together, today you can do anything with computers. Like years ago, we needed a whole band to record a piece. You needed a drummer, you needed a bass player, and so forth. Just to get a song done. Today, you don't even need a band. Today, all you need is a drum beat, keyboard line, and that's it.
I got one of those little machines at home. You can get the beat going and all that, but it's okay. I don't know. I just know there's an overworked term, a synergy or a vibe they used to say between the people in the band, particularly like my friend Ornette. It's all free form.
Right.
They just get up and they wail. And there's a vibe there that happens in real time.
It's like something that's spontaneous.
Oh, right. Spontaneous, that kind of thing.
Right on the seconds notice. I've done that many times.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Okay. And you're a songwriter in that.
Right,
so
exactly.
Congratulations. That's a good way to be and everything. Now, if I understand, we got a CD.
Right.
And we got it in the booth. So we could maybe play some music from that CD, and you could maybe we could hear it, and then maybe you could sing over it or something like that.
Well, you have a TV track.
Yeah.
And what I could do is, what you do is you play the TV track, and I'd sing the song that I have recorded.
Well, okay, then let's talk to the fellows in the booth. That'd be Josh and everything. Maybe you could play that now, and make sure you pump it in here so we can hear it, right?
Right, exactly.
Because
so that's why I'd be able to sing it.
It may take them a minute to get it pumped in here.
They may need a mic too.
Oh, you could use your mic there. You got the lavalier. You can pick it up off the lavalier.
Will I be able to? Okay. Well,
yeah,
I could do that.
Shall we try?
We could take a shot at it.
Why
not?
don't you try that, Josh? Get the. This is a CD from, and this is which cuts are they going to do? This from Water Rain?
Yeah, it's from the Water Rain album. This piece is called "Is It Love."
Is It Love? That's the first one.
Right,
Is
the
It
first
Love?
one on top.
And this is you wrote.
I wrote.
Words and lyrics.
Music,
words
the
and
whole
music,
nine.
the whole thing. So let's see if we can play that. And make sure you bring it in here, and then we'll experiment. You're going to stand up?
They don't want to stand up for this.
Okay, well then you better get a shot of the man here, Josh. You got to get the camera here.
Oh,
but let's hear the music if you
gone.
can. Okay, bring it onto the. Can you do that, Josh? Let me know. You can't do it?
Can we do it?
Are you going to be able to bring the music?
For many of the
Is that it?
I don't think so.
Okay, we're hearing the wrong. Was that part of it?
It was a TV track called "Is It Love." I brought a TV track in.
Okay, why don't you sit down until they get it
Sure,
going?
I'll
You
do
don't
that.
want to stand there
Yeah,
until you
why
have
not?
to. Let's try to get that track going, if you can, fellas, from the CD. And we seem to get something different, somebody talking. So, well, do that, and if you can get it going, just pump it in here, and we'll go right to that if you can. But meanwhile, we'll just keep talking. Oh,
That's
you did
it. Okay, we'll start that from the beginning, though.
Can you start that from the beginning, that
There
track?
you go.
Is that it?
That's it.
Now you're going to sing, you want to stand up. All right, try to get him in the...
Too many days have passed since I last saw your face. Something here is telling me
There you go, son.
things are out of place. You should have been waiting such a long time for your love. I wanna know if I should thank all the stars above. 'Cause is it strange the way you call my name? Is it love that I feel? 'Cause all my life I've been waiting it up in line. Is it love that I feel? 'Cause if it's love I feel, I want you to give me the deal. I want you to give me the deal. You and I have been moving fast now. Do you need some time? Uh-huh. 'Cause I wanna know what I have here, if it's really mine. Uh-huh. You see, I've been waiting such a long time for you, lover. Uh-huh. I wanna know if it's just me, or should I find another? 'Cause is it strange the way you call my name? Is it love that I feel? 'Cause all my life I've been waiting it up in line. Is it love that I feel? Or is it strange the way you call my name? Is it love that I feel? 'Cause all my life I've been waiting it up in line. Is it love that I feel? 'Cause if it's love I feel, I want you to give me the deal. Is it strange the way you call my name? Is it love that I feel? 'Cause all my life I've been waiting it off in line. Is it love that I feel? Or is it strange the way you call my name? Is it love that I feel? 'Cause all my life I've been waiting it off in line. Is it love that I feel? Or is it strange the way you call my name? Is it love that I feel? 'Cause all my life I've been waiting it off in line. Is it love that I feel? 'Cause if it's love I feel, I want you to give me the deal.
All right. Okay. I'm not sure exactly. We weren't hearing exactly. I hope they were able to get the voice well modulated to the music and everything in the mix on the video. I haven't been able to see it, but okay, it's a lot of energy to put that out and everything. And that's the song. When did you write that song?
I had written that song in 2005. In fact, when we started recording the album.
Right.
The song I went to Europe.
Yeah.
And the first song to actually hit Europe, in fact, and not when we say call it Europe, but say South Africa.
Right.
It was a song that Keith Kemp had written the music to, and I had written the lyrics to. And that song was called It's Saturday Morning Once Again.
Okay. Right.
And the song went to South Africa, and we got a great review from the South African government there.
That's
people
good.
there say, hey, it was a great song, we love it. The guy's got a beautiful voice and all that other good stuff. But then when we completed Is It Love, we shipped that out over the internet. We shipped it out onto this label that we were working with at the time. It's called MP3. And they put it out in Europe, and it started to make a big hit all over. It started out in Spain, It worked its way into Germany,
Huh, okay.
and from Germany into the UK, and then so forth, so on with Japan, and I made top 10 all over there.
That was the single? The single?
That's it.
That's
This one
the
here.
single you just sang. I hope we got it mixed well. I'm not sure if we were able to or not, but that's good and everything like that. And then we used to have a thing called the Hit Parade in the old days.
Oh, yeah.
And what's happening now? I don't follow music really well. I don't know what's happening in terms
Well,
of...
today you got everything going on.
There's
You
so
got,
much talent now.
There's so much
it
talent
seems.
out there.
Yeah,
You
you
got-
think so. And there's so many venues
you got the
for
Star
expressing.
Search that's going on right now on
Yeah.
television with these young kids that are breaking into the music business, at least trying to anyway.
Right, yeah.
You got Simon Cowell there. You got what's her name and so forth. It's just like, they're right there.
Yeah, I would. They had this thing with what was her name, Susan Boyle, who hit like gangbusters when she sang that song, and everything. It hit like
a lot of these kids got beautiful
and
voices.
I was thinking she surprised her, and then they have a thing called American Idol
Yeah.
that's on television, and they're trying to find a great talent or something like that. We used to have a thing called the Ted Mack Amateur Hour.
Oh, I
that
heard
was
about
way
that.
the hell back.
I
you
heard
know, in
about
the
that.
old
My
days
mother
when
told
they
me
would
about
do
that.
that,
Yeah.
and they would have that, and they're trying to find the talent and so forth. But now there seems to be so much talent in so many venues. I don't even know who. Are there stars still that are like we just lost Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I just
He
they
was
had a
an
thing with
icon.
him. I can remember when he was playing, and it was the Jackson 5, and that
Yeah.
kid was about 6 years old or something, and he was a knockout.
What a
and there is
singer
this
that kid
super
was.
duper star quality that he
Forget
had.
about
And
it.
we mentioned Fred Astaire; he could really hoof.
Oh, yeah.
And
But
and
Michael Jackson was a natural talent.
well, okay, that's what I'm getting at in a sense.
He
Is
was a
it? Is it? We have stars, right?
Right.
Who were the stars? Now, excuse me, because I'm not following. In music, we used to have the Beatles, and we
Right.
had the Rolling Stones, and we had stars.
We had stars.
Do we have stars still? I don't even know. Or is
Today,
it that there's so
the
many
biggest-
different voices that so many more people making
Yeah.
music and making it
I know.
with digital effects and making the sound so effective and all over the
That's
world.
why-
We got music coming in from Africa now that's out
Yeah.
of sight, really good,
Really
a
good.
variety. So
We're getting it from all around
do
the
we
world.
have stars now, or is it possible for there to be a star?
Well, let's put
the
it
way
like
there
this.
did
I
back in
think-
the old days?
I think a star is someone people pick
Yeah.
for themselves.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own style of music that they like and enjoy.
Right.
For instance, my style is pop.
Yeah.
Your style may be classical or whatever.
Well,
you have your
I
own
just like all
styles.
music, but I'm not a producer. I'm not a producer.
Well, I
of
mean,
music.
you have your style. Everybody's got their own style of
Yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah.
And with that, everybody picks their own star.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have fans. I have kids that people love my music, and they follow me, and they consider me a star. You
Yeah.
know. And I guess I'm a star of my own right. Well, I worked hard for it.
Yeah, right. That's good. I think that's
Yeah.
a good mindset to have and everything like
I'm
that.
working very hard for it.
Well,
You know.
but we used to have a thing back, the hit parade.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody would listen to it on the radio. I don't think there was any television, but it would be the number one song. They still have that, I guess.
They still
Is
do.
there still?
They still
Excuse
do.
me, I'm
Today
so
they-
damned ignorant and out of touch.
Today
but
you got
is there a thing, the number one song for the week?
Oh, yeah.
They go by sales
they
or something.
Do. Yeah, they do. They go by. Well, it's not. It's by sales, and also, like I said, who's the most popular and so forth.
Yeah.
Like, you got Britney Spears. You got Madonna out there, who's doing a wonderful job. You've got.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who are the
Minaj.
stars? But Madonna and
Well-
that isn't that back sometime, some decade ago or something?
Well, no. She's
No,
still
who
very
is
popular
it-
today.
Who
She's
is
doing
the-
very well.
Oh, that's it.
She's doing
That's
very,
what I was
very
getting at.
strong
Who is
today.
the star of today? Do we have
Gee,
a
there's
star?
so many.
That's what I'm getting. That's exactly
There's
the
so
point.
many. There's
That's
not
the
just
point I was
one.
trying to get
There's
at.
nobody's at
There
the
is
top.
no
There's always
overriding star
no
like there
overriding.
was back in the 30s.
The only
and
overriding
40s.
star right now, I would say, was overriding, and may he rest in peace. That would be Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson was in the league by himself.
He was an
wasn't he?
icon.
Yeah.
He was an icon. That guy
Yeah.
was a fantastic singer,
Right.
and he was a singer of his own right. He was a singer, a musician. How can I say? How can I put him?
Yeah, he was-
He was
yeah.
a man of his own right.
Right.
The guy was fabulous.
Or in his own day, we had Mozart.
And
Mozart was just incredible, or Bach. We have
Exactly.
that. So we account for that. It just wonders whether or not how the world is trending and everything, because like in the Balinese, right? The Balinese have a saying. It's just interesting, this democratizing development that seems to be going on. But the Balinese have a saying, we have no art.
Yeah.
We do everything as well as possible. You know, so like making a dish or something, we do rather than there being the star, like we've had, it's like everybody's becoming a star. You know, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I know
or
what
is
you
it
mean.
still that Sally Boyle? What was her name? Susan Boyle. Do you remember she had such a thing on YouTube a little while ago? She sang in Scotland at a Idol thing. What do you call it? American Idol? There's a program called that.
Yeah, the American
and
Idol.
people are trying to become a star.
Yeah, that's how it starts. That's what
Okay.
they do. And everybody's, but this, no, I can't say I've heard of her too much. Well, you know what
Well,
it is,
she
I've
was
been so
she
busy.
was the biggest thing ever in the history of YouTube. She got about 10 billion hits or something, and it was just everybody. It was all over just a month or two ago.
And
She was a
became
singer
big
from
hero.
Scotland, and she became like they want to be a star.
Yeah.
People, I guess that's legitimate. People want to be a star and really
Everybody
show
wants to
their
be
talent.
a star. I mean, when I was growing up, like I said, I wanted to be a star too. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, it's just something that, well, at first my mother thought it was just a phase I was going through.
Yeah, but your mother's always going to be. You're always going to be a star in your mother's eye.
Oh,
Thank God.
yeah,
Yeah, that kind of thing. But do you understand what I'm saying? I'm showing my ignorance now of not being aware of the
No.
entertainment.
Today,
It's in the-
everybody,
Yeah, go ahead.
to me, as long as you got something that kids like, you're considered a star.
Okay, the kids. It's the kids who said it because you're in
Kids.
pop in that.
Hey,
So it's
kids,
the
like,
18-year-olds
we'll call kids from anything between the age of 8 years old, believe it or not.
8,
Because
okay.
8 years old, kids start realizing music and stuff like that. Too.
Yeah,
To 22, 23, 24 years old.
right, right.
You know, and older. I mean, even people my age, your age, we still, I mean, not as much, but we still are
Yeah,
interested
but
in
we
music.
don't figure in that. The older people, it's a
Well, you
young
still-
market. It's a youth-oriented.
Because today you
thing.
don't have to buy CDs no more.
You
Now
don't have to
go on
buy
the internet.
CD. Yeah, right,
99 cents, there it is. Yeah.
right, right,
And for 99 cents, you got it.
right.
And-
But or like we were talking before, you were in a movie, okay?
Right.
And Will Smith is the name, so you have stars.
Right.
We used to have stars. Katharine Hepburn.
There's always that
Jimmy
one
Stewart
main
and
guy.
Jimmy Cagney. We had a few stars, and all the budget goes for the star. Or
Exactly.
we have in golf, we have Tiger Woods. You don't need anybody else. You got Tiger Woods, or you got the star. It's a star system that the business is built on because that's going to get the sales. And you
Exactly.
had the Beatles in, and then you
Yeah.
had somebody who's a star. And is that now you've got this thing come hip hop?
Hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop. That came out of
Hip-hop.
the Bronx or something.
Rap.
And rap.
You got all that stuff now today. That's I do a show once a month at this place called the Bowery Poetry Club.
Oh, I love the Poetry Club.
Have you-
Yeah,
know
I've
the
been
place?
there a lot. Yeah, we get. I like
Once a month,
poetry. You see. and-
WGBB Radio.
Yeah.
My manager Val from Val Management. She's a DJ for WGBB.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
1240
Okay.
AM radio. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I'm a producer to that show. In fact, we do the show once a week
Uh-huh.
on every Tuesday. We're on from 11 at night to 12 midnight.
Uh-huh.
And they hold, Big Cal
Yeah.
is the name of the DJ that's also with WGBB. He holds once a month a showcase
Uh-huh.
at this place called the Bowery Poetry Club here on 3rd Avenue and between 1st and House.
Yeah, I know it well. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in the Lower East Side.
Oh,
yeah.
they have some
Yeah, a lot
fabulous
of
stuff
talent,
there.
man. Yeah.
A lot of talent. And he
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
has these rappers coming in every month. And I'm like the only pop singer that gets on the damn stage to sing.
Okay,
you know?
see, we got different genres.
Right,
Yeah,
Jennings.
right, yeah.
He tries to get this so it's mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
But today you've got so much in hip hop
Yeah.
and in rap going on.
Right.
Which is all fabulous. I mean, it's
That's what I'm
talent in the
saying.
making.
It's all good.
It's all good,
This
you
guy,
know?
DJ Gaddafi, played these songs. It was popular music out of Africa, and it rocked. It was
Oh,
really, really good
man.
coming out of the countries of
Yeah.
Africa. We had hardly heard it. There's going to be popular music coming out of China or Uzbekistan or something pretty soon.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, it
I
seems
love it
to me,
all.
but the star system still holds in all of our thinking. We have, in all the professions and so forth, you have a star. Or in the movies, the budget all goes to the star, and it's a balance of how many people will go see the movie based upon the fact there's a star. But now it's getting, I don't even know who the stars are anymore,
You know,
if there are.
to be honest
It's
with
not
you,
like it used to be.
You had said to me just a few seconds ago, do you know this young lady that had been on Star Search?
No, she
Oh.
wasn't young as it happened. She was Susan Boyle was probably 55 or something. She was
Oh,
older.
God bless her.
And she came out,
Beautiful.
and it was one of those things like they got I've never seen it. But
I didn't know.
There's a thing called there's a television program called American Idol.
Right.
And
I know.
people come and they want to become,
No, I know
they're a
about
great
American
talent, a special talent.
Right.
And they want to become a star in that. I'm just wondering about that because in the movies, it always is just, that's the business model, built around star. And do we still have stars? That's what I'm getting. Who
Do we still
are
have
the
stars today?
Who is the star pop singer now? This is, what is this? This is August 13th of the year 2009.
Right.
Is there a number one hit song like the Hit Parade or a star as far as, I don't even know who they are is what I'm saying. I don't even know
wanna
the
know the truth?
actors.
You
I
wanna know
can't
the
keep,
truth? Everybody's a star.
everybody's a star. Well, that's like the
Everybody's a
Balinese
star today.
say, we have no
Everybody,
no
the internet,
art.
Everybody's got their own.
Well, it's very
favorite musician or singer.
democratizing, and there's a lot of talent, and it's a different, but it's sort of like a muted. The star quality thing is
Yeah.
muted, but it still motivates people to want to stand out as a star, like
Exactly.
Judy Garland, A Star Is Born, or
Exactly.
something. You know all of that?
Yeah, Judy
It's-
Garland, she
it-
was a
the-
wonderful
the
icon.
the zeitgeist is changing, and there's so many stars emerging.
Every
or a
day there's
certain-
somebody new.
Yeah.
Every day, with all the talent that's out here today, because today record companies don't want to pick up nobody because
The business is
the
changing.
business is
isn't it?
changing
Yeah.
tremendously. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's like today the record company, the business today, it's like so, it's the climonomy is so it's bad. And you got record companies that don't want to pick up new artists because the money is just not there. And
Okay.
there's just so much talent that's
Yeah.
coming through their doors. they have to keep
Newspapers are
going.
under threat because everybody's getting their news off the internet. So the
Right.
business model, a lot of things are changing.
Computers
from,
today are changing everything.
Yeah.
The computers today are changing
Yeah.
just about everything there is
Including
out
the
there,
music
including
business.
music business.
Everything is.
Even the acting business. Is
Yeah,
getting-
even acting and all
Everybody's
that.
picking up their own cameras today and going, all right, let's get this movie going.
Right. They're making their whole movies.
And there it is on the internet. Yeah.
Listen, thanks a lot for coming in, right?
Thank you so
sorry
much
we
for
got a
having
little
me,
slow
Harold.
start and everything, and sorry
That's
we couldn't
all
get that scene from Legend in. I would like to, because I'm telling you, you really scared the daylights out of me
Well,
with
I
that
tell
scene.
you what, just watch it.
I'm going to watch it again when I get home. Thanks to talk. Thanks
Thank
for
you so
coming.
much for having me, Harold.
Great pleasure. Your pleasure to have the Perceptions in. Here's a picture. Maybe we can bring it in. Very nice picture. It used to be headshots, but this is a full body picture
you
of
go.
Gene, who's been our guest. Gene Roberts. He's an actor,
Singer,
a singer, and a songwriter. And it's really been good to talk to you and everything. Good
Been a
luck with all
pleasure
the
being on your
albums.
show, Harold.
And I hope we got
And I've had a wonderful
we're
time.
able to do justice to the music and everything because
I hope.
it really is good, I know, and everything. And thanks
Thank
for
you so
coming in.
much.
Your pleasure to have your Perceptions. We invite you to tune in. When we come back again tomorrow. That's it for now. All the best, Gene. It's good to meet you and good to be
Once again,
beginning
a
of a
pleasure to be
beautiful
on your
friendship.
show, Harold.
Okay. Thank you for viewing. We're coming back tomorrow. Please tune in then. So I'm just interested in, I don't know, maybe it's just I'm behind the curve, of understanding. I don't know who the hell the star is now.
To be honest with you today,
yeah.
I don't even know who the star
You don't
is.
even know, and you're in the
I
business.
am in the business.
Well, I don't know. The world's changing.
It's changing
Yeah.
tremendously.
Okay, well, we got to go. We got to do another program here, and we're running behind. Welcome, Jay. Good to see you. Okay, we got to get this. You'll have to give us about. You'll have to give us about 5 or 6 minutes, Jay. Okay? Sure. And then, can I keep this? Thank you. I'm happy to have it. Okay, Harold, can I borrow his hair? Yes, you can have it all. Harold, what? What? I can't hear you.
at the following email address: ChinatownKing@cs.com.